What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Rams Brothers, the pod. I'm your host, Dean, and I'm joined by the other host of this show, Nick, and we have a special guest, Taran Killam, third-time offender. How are you guys tonight?
Whose house?
Rams
Our own
house?
houses right now. Our own houses. I mean, literally Rams house. Literally, that will be heard and said. That I'm curious about. I mean, Sam and JB can't call the game, I guess, right? Because it's the Super Bowl. So do the fans have to be responsible for their own whose house after
That's
every
a good point. It's concerning.
I remember in 2018, there was like Patriots like stops on third down when we were driving. And I don't know. I don't think that was fan driven. So I think if anything, because the Bengals are the home team,
sure,
it'll be who dey. But, I think it'll be more Rams fans, but we'll see.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
We got whose house. We're going to hear whose day. There's a very easy way to phase out who day.
Many
we got
who's who of Super Bowls.
Yeah.
But Taran, I just want to say straight up, man, I'm freaking huge fan over here.
Oh,
I know.
Thanks, Nick.
I know you're probably also a huge fan of mine.
100%, dude. Rams Brothers pod. That's my jam. As you know, I'm the Triple Crown. I'm the Cooper Cup of Rams Brothers. I mean, I know you've had other guests who've done it a lot more, but there's something about being a Triple Crowner in this season that feels very apropos.
So
I mean,
you're a third
back
time
in Dean, go ahead. Sorry, I'm a little flabbergasted over here, Taran. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is so cool.
I love it, dude.
You're a third-time offender, Taran. But this is like the third time you're hosting SNL. So in honor of it being the third time that you're on the show, we will be awarding you with an official Rams Brothers t-shirt that we'll be sending your way.
Hell yeah.
After the podcast. It will be exclusive to you because you're a third-time host, third-time offender. We're going to have to send one to Jim Everett as well because Jim's the only other one. We haven't even had our father on the pod 3 times yet.
Yeah, you've come on more than him.
So you're at the top of the list.
Awesome. No, I'm honored. I'm honored, you guys. I so appreciate it. It's so crazy it worked out this way. You know what I mean? It's insane. It's a storybook ending already.
Both years that you've been on the podcast, the Rams have successfully made it to the Super Bowl. And back in 2018, I really felt like that was it. I thought there was no way they were losing that game. And now all of a sudden it's like our year again. And I don't think it felt this way the whole time at all. I never thought that they were going to the Super Bowl. Me and you both were big. When you were on the pod, you were talking about how, Goff was like our soldier. I was a huge Goff guy, man. Yeah. So to hear you stand up for him like that was huge. Cause I know a lot of Rams fans don't really feel that way.
Oh, so that's nice. I obviously, like, Stafford is, the proof is in the pudding. You know what I mean? The guy's just like, his actions speak louder than words, and I'm so grateful to him. And it's been really fun kind of getting to know his character this season, which I didn't know anything about. I sort of knew about his legacy, that he was like tough as nails and always kind of carrying the team on his shoulders in Detroit. But I didn't know the person he was, and getting to know a little bit more about his and his wife Kelly's history. I'm grateful that he's leading this team, has led this team to where we are. But I still love Goff. Goff, he did so many great things, and I think it's very clear that the reason it didn't work out was much more of a personality thing than necessarily a talent thing. It all came down to kind of the communication and just the way that the coaching and the playing was able to vibe or not vibe. But that's my take on it. But he brought us to a Super Bowl too, and he was in his third year. It was his third year, right? Or was that
third year. Third year. I mean, he started that 1 year like halfway through the season under Fisher, his second year.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So I've the sort of like the theme of this season and what I feel I've tapped into in terms of like the Rams franchise mojo is that they are driven by like spite and revenge. And I had so much confidence in that 49ers playoff game because of law of averages, also like 6 times in a row, but they're benching their starters in week 17 kind of stuff. But the fact that Shanahan stole McVay's perfect record of being ahead at the half and never losing, I was like, oh, you just made Hulk very angry. And I feel like we have a little bit of that in that, we were just there 4 years ago, the Super Bowl, and it came down to experience. I think that game really came down to experience. Our seats were like front row, right in front of Aqib Talib when he got that interception against Brady, and it was like
to start the game.
Here we go. First quarter, here we go. It's all, and then it was just like crickets for the other 3 quarters till the end. But McVay has a chip on his shoulder from that. I'm certain, you know what I mean? Because they only scored 1 field goal, right? Or did they score no points?
Yeah, just 3. A field goal.
3 is 3. So I just feel like we have the experience going for us, and you cannot tell me that the fact that these players, that the Rams players, will wake up in their own bed, commute the same way they have for 19 games now, and enter a facility that is their home turf has insane advantages. So yeah, well, I think, Nick, like, I didn't necessarily feel that 4 years ago that 2018 was ours, and being in Atlanta and seeing just like the Patriot, like if people thought week 18 with Niners fans and SoFi was bad, like Atlanta was near soul crushing.
Yeah.
And I even think if you go back and look at the banners of the Super Bowl that year, they almost were exactly Patriot colors too. So like, so that the banner was like blue and red and white, and then you just I don't even think it was like 70-30. I think we were so outnumbered that I didn't have the confidence that I certainly have heading into Sunday.
It sounds about right. I wanted to know too, when you talk about home field advantage and banners, right? You're getting everybody excited, but Rams 12 games at home this season, 12 games in SoFi Stadium. This will be their 12th. The Bengals have played exactly 0 in SoFi Stadium. Like what you talked about, your bed, your sheets, your pillow, your home stadium. Like how much does that play into a factor? And I mean, just from a storyline perspective, how much do you think that helps McVay?
Immensely, you know what I mean? There's just so much, like, I don't know about you guys, but anytime I have to pack a suitcase, it occupies a whole section of my brain that just, you're leaving something behind. Do I have everything? There is some modicum of stress in that, right? Yeah. But it's confidence, it's swagger, it's familiarity, and it's pride too. Like then there's the emotional side of it, right? Of like, Rams have everything to lose. You know what I mean? Like they have, you're right. It's they're fighting for literally everything, and it's compounded by all this extra emotion of the first Super Bowl in their state of the art, in many people's opinion, best sports facility in the world right now. Their brand spanking new car, he's like a new driver as a coach who got like a loaner and like showed up at prom and got in a fender bender, and he's so embarrassed, but he freaking worked summer jobs ever since, and now he's got his brand new Corvette, right? And he's like, he's not gonna let anything happen to it. So I feel so good. And for me, the focus is entirely on the strength and advantages of the Rams, and not necessarily poo-pooing the Bengals, because they've been so fun to watch this year. Like, because I had Jamar Chase on one of my fantasy leagues, and so like tuning in, they're a great team, and I think it's going to be a very exciting, great game. But there's just no way we lose.
Yeah, I feel like if it's not their year now, the only thing that worries me is if they don't get it done now, I feel like this team somehow will never be able. Like the stars align, the planets have turned. Like we're home, man. Like how can you not like finish the job? And I think the game can go one of two ways. Like there is a future where it goes exactly the way I think that the Cardinals game went, where it is just the Bengals are never comfortable, and it is a full on like when was the last blowout Super Bowl that we saw? Like besides like back in the 90s,
there was that Seahawks.
Like the Bills.
Did the Seahawks?
Right, Seahawks Broncos, right?
Like 42-5 or something like that. 100 felt like 100 years ago.
Yeah,
but it was
that's
like
right.
10 or 12 years ago. Yeah.
Or like I think the only other way besides that is just like a nail biter like comes down to one of the kickers. But I mean, like how much more magic does this Bengals team have? Like they have to be running low, right?
I think also there's just like they have time. You know what I mean? There's like you're looking at your Vaughns and OBJs, and even Whitworth is maybe prime example of like they're going to leave everything on the field.
And
the Bengals,
Walter Payton Man of the Year, Andrew Whitworth.
I know, yeah, so
beautiful.
Cool. So cool, so great. Yeah, it is. It's just storybook, and I just hope it's a great game. But like, halftime show's going to be insanity. Like I cannot, it's just going to be one of the best halftime shows ever. And I cannot wait to experience that because I've been to 2 other Super Bowls, 2018 Rams Patriots. And then I was at the Seahawks Patriots game with the 1 yard line.
Malcolm Butler. Oh,
yeah. It's a good one to be at.
Yeah. So the Rams it was Big Boy, right? Was the halftime show?
It was Maroon 5, I think, right?
5 and Big Boy, yeah. Which is fine. It's good.
Adam Levine took his shirt off and it looked a little weird.
That's right.
We
right.
like
and
Big Boy though. We support Big Boy.
Yeah, Big Boy's dope, but he got in the car and he had his big jacket and like being there so fun. It's the part that it's the thing I love the most about being at football games live, because quite honestly, like there's no better way to watch an actual game than on TV just because you're like in it.
Yeah.
But being live, you get to see everything that's happening on the sidelines and off camera, and like Big Boy getting into the back of this Cadillac and like people like zhuzhing his big fur coat as he's going out there, is the best stuff. But for the Seahawks Patriots game, that was Katy Perry and that was Left Shark, Right Shark, which was really fun to see.
Awesome.
It was great. Like what was great was being there. Like you had no concept of that until like after the game or maybe even the next day. Like Left Shark, like if you're at home, you're on Twitter and that was boom, 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 boom. And that became the meme immediately. But there, what was impressive is she came out on this like giant steel lion, like this enormous steel lion, and like rode on its head. And you're like, whoa. So that was a good spectacle. But just in terms of like getting my heart racing, you couldn't ask for a better halftime show.
Well, what do you think, Taran? Do you think these guys are spectacle guys? Dr. Dre, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Mary J. Blige may be a little spectacle-esque, but I don't know. You think they're gonna pull out all the big stops?
I mean, I think that they're like their gravitas, you know what I mean, will be the spectacle. I'm sure there'll be sparks and lights and flares and dancing around them.
You think Snoop is gonna spark on the stage? That's a question.
It's a great thing. I hope Snoop pulls his shirt down and he's got like a little vape thing on over his nipple, and then he's able to like pull that off.
I read a story that Snoop didn't even hold back when he was in the White House. So nothing.
Yeah, he's not going to hold back on SoFi. I mean, there's like 100% chance Eminem is rocking Detroit Lions Stafford jersey.
You got to go full Stafford
for sure. Yeah, it's dope. That parallel is so great. All cylinders are firing.
How about this first cylinder? How about Super Bowl experience? The Rams have 11 or 12 players. I believe it's 11 players with Super Bowl experience, 2 of which have a ring in Sony Michel and Von Miller.
Let me guess.
Well, the Bengals have 1 player that has any Super Bowl experience. It's Ricardo Allen. He's the only player with any Super Bowl experience, and he was on the Falcons a couple of years ago when the Falcons blew that game to 27-3 to the Patriots.
Oh boy,
that guy was once a practice squad player. So I just want to talk about experience. I think we've done 117 episodes. Our 3rd episode with Taran so far has been the best.
Quick flex, all 117 episodes, just a little flex.
That's really not even that many if you think about it. But
pretty amazing.
I mean, experience. It's
listen to Taran, Dean. It's pretty amazing.
It's a labor of love. It's a labor of love.
It's 100 more episodes than games that are played in a regular football season.
That's true.
Which means maybe we do too many.
Yeah, right.
But practice squad players. I mean, Ricardo Allen, this is a guy that, he had the Super Bowl experience. It wasn't as in-depth as an Andrew Whitworth or an Aaron Donald. I just watched that video of Aaron Donald just pacing back and forth on the field. From a vocal leader perspective, how much do you think experience matters from Von Miller, from Jalen Ramsey? And do you think Aaron Donald can kind of take a step back and just let his physicality go in the Super Bowl?
100%. Yeah. I think, I mean, to me, like the sort of like foreshadowing of how this has all played out is McVay saying it's a shame on me if I don't get Aaron Donald a Super Bowl ring, right? Yeah. Like that's kind of been the thesis statement of where we are now. But I think experience is everything. And I think that was the biggest determining factor of 2018 against the Patriots. You know what I mean? Like they were pretty evenly matched. It was a really strong defensive game, which is a nice way of saying that it was boring. But then ultimately like the perception was McVay's jitters and his deference to Belichick kind of won out. And now our 34-year-old coach is the seasoned veteran. So
this is crazy.
It's crazy. I think outside of Super Bowl, I do think, the Chiefs are a phenomenal team, but the way that Aaron Donald specifically shifts around on that defensive line and the way that you don't know where Leonard's coming from, where Vaughn's coming from, where Greg's coming from. Like that's what's been so cool is with this stacked team, we're saying names like Greg Gaines because they're stepping, you know what I mean? Like no one's falling short. So I Joe Burrow's stat of like 9 sacks and they still won. I think the fact that we do have Jalen, and I'm pro Troy Reeder because even though he'll miss a tackle, he's always there. You know what I mean? He's always like where the play is. So I just think that their offense will be overwhelmed, and I'm curious to see their defense match up against our offense because it's not even worth saying at this point, like how many weeks going into a game you're like, well, they're gonna be all over Cup. There's no way he's gonna get open.
Keep getting open though.
There he is.
Yeah, keeps finding a way.
Ridiculous.
I mean, that's something that Woods brought to the table, and now OBJ brings to the table because it's like both of these guys are so capable of making that big play. I think Higbee being out is going to hinder it a little bit, though. I'm not.
Bland was great. Bland really stepped up in like a kind of like key moment where you're like, okay. I mean, for sure, not. Is that for sure that Higbee's not playing?
Yeah, I think he's
from what I'm reading. Yeah,
he's doubtful.
That's a bummer. That's a full bummer.
Yeah,
I'm really curious to see Jacob Harris step up though, and kind of like, I don't know. I liked watching that guy at training camp and in preseason. I don't know if that's who
I think he's I think he's out for the year, so it would be Bryson Hopkins. Yeah, Bryson Hopkins would be the next man up.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And he's okay. I mean, he's plenty serviceable. He got some good reps earlier on in the season when I think Johnny Munt went down.
Yeah.
So, you need those guys. But you know what? You talked about Troy Reeder. And this has been, I think, every single episode we've mentioned Troy Reeder in some capacity because he feels like he's the weak link on this star power-filled team. I just heard that Eric Weddle is going to be wearing the green dot in the Super Bowl.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, what does that say? I mean, Jamar Chase pretty well. Like, what does that say about the Bengals receiving core if you transition from a linebacker wearing a green dot to a safety, right? Maybe some better recognition in the secondary versus San Francisco, who's heavy on everything up front,
Every analysis that I'm watching is talking about like those short, mid-range, middle of the field passes, and keep it. And that's kind of where Reeder has lived,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen Reeder as the weak spot, and I'm always a little flummoxed when like people, but because it's Williams really who teams are singling out and taking full advantage of.
That's what I was about to say. I feel like every time there's a big play, it's Williams that's kind of like missing the tackle. I'm like, it's 11 again.
Unfortunately, yeah. But that also, I mean, having Weddle back is one insane and another fun wrinkle B or C story to this insane season. But as undeniably phenomenal an athlete and player as Jalen Ramsey is, this sort of like rogue position he's playing it isn't always for the best from what I've seen. You know what I mean? Yeah. It isn't always for the best. Only because to allow for him to be as flexible as possible, you do need everybody else to be on his page, right? And I think that's where like the Taylor Rapp and Jalen tiff came out of that, where it's like, why do I have to be fully conscious of your chore chart as well as mine because you want to switch washing the dishes duty or whatever. So I think the confidence in Weddle, him being green dot, is that as a veteran, he just does have those reps for that shorthand to allow Jalen to do what he really needs to do.
Yeah, I mean, I have confidence in the defense, but I think when you change the identity of a signal caller, right, it just speaks to the offense and Jamar Chase and the ability that they'll have to at least try to take the top off the defense, right? If the pass rush doesn't get home immediately and they can hit on some things in the second level, that's where it gets a little bit concerning. If Darius Williams gets exposed, if David Long Jr. is back in the game, you go back to the Arizona game all the way in week 5, but it feels like they haven't played that kind of game in such a long period of time. I mean, even the losing streak that they went through in November, they still felt like they were a high-powered offense. There just were some things that weren't clicking. Maybe the run offense wasn't there, so-and-so. But how about the three-headed monster?
Yeah, Henderson's fully back now, which they seem to, like, from everything I'm reading, they're like completely stoked on that. And my thought process would be let's keep riding on, the two guys that have been great. I mean, I know Cam Akers struggled in that Tampa game, but he had some really good runs. If you just hold on to that ball, like, we get to put him away before halftime.
No, 100%.
So I'm shocked.
I think with Sony still. I mean, Sony's been the gold star, all season. Like, Daryl had a great start, and it was a shame that we kind of lost him there for a while. But Sony stepped right up and then some. So I think like what's fun is keeping them on their toes more than anything, more than who's going to be efficient. Because Sony's just sort of like, he's mama bear porridge. You know what I mean? He's just like right in the middle. And then you got baby bear Cam Akers, who will just like, the way that he can find a lane is so amazing. That's like the craziest thing about him, the way he can step back and shift, and then there's just Papa Bear Daryl, who's just like, I think you get down to the goal line and that's where you throw him in. Personally, that's what I'd like to see. I don't know, I'm no expert, but
Sony and Cam just always kind of reminded me of Paul and Phil and Paul. Can you guess who's who? We'll never tell.
Where one goes, the other's there. Yeah, which one's Paul? Which one's Phil? We'll never tell.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. I'm Paul. That's Phil.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I had to say that. It's like my favorite SNL sketch.
That's awesome, Nick. Thank you. Jim Carrey's my hero, my absolute hero. So I got to do that with him. I got to do a Maryville Brothers the first time he hosted when I was there. So yeah, those sketches are very, very special to me as well. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you, man. It's so cool.
Yeah. How about this? We just talked about Sony Michel potentially getting into the end zone. I like Sony Michel as an anytime touchdown scorer as a bettor. Taran, are you a bettor at all? Do you have any locks?
I'm not. I don't because
smart man.
And I'm not young or sophisticated or passionate enough as a gambler to figure out how to draft kings through a different thing where, so I like to go into a casino. I like to put it on red. I put like 40 on red first thing, and then I'll do blackjack and I'll do my best to try to count face cards versus number cards,
I like it.
Because I like it.
There's a lot of stress that's involved in sports gambling too.
I don't, like Norm Macdonald was they talk about, like, David Spade has a story of showing up at his house and saying like, hey, do you have any ice for, my drink? And he's like, it's in the freezer. And there's just 40 grand in casino chips from like, a sports book casino chips or whatever. So yeah, I'm done. I don't, whenever I see like +4, I always go like, yeah.
What the hell's that?
People are like, no, that's not good.
I mean, like I do it. It's not something I'm proud of. I feel like Wario most of the time, just kind of being like a scummy guy. But one thing I am proud of is as soon as the Rams signed OBJ, I texted buddies of mine that live in Jersey, and I was like, "Hey, you have to place a bet for me that the Rams win the Super Bowl." So I put $300 on it because OBJ. I mean, no matter what people were saying about him at the time, he is a talent, like a star, like one of the like. If Cooper Kupp's not here, I think he fills that role like immediately. It just so happens we have both. So that pays out $3,000 if the Rams win. So I don't know if I hedge it and bet on the Bengals. I can't do that because I can't bet on the Bengals.
I think you hedge it and go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe. Are you going, Taran? Because me and Dean are are thinking about maybe figuring out a way.
I am, and you should if you can. The prices dropped pretty hard for the upper sections, especially in the last 48 hours. Like I bit the bullet and I bought like painfully expensive tickets just to secure those.
Yep.
But the team says they're gonna hook me up. I haven't seen the seats yet, so we'll see. It'll be kind of like a game time decision which ones I go with.
Fun. That's fun.
But I'll be there no matter what. And
it seems
love to have you there.
Cool. Well, we're gonna try to go, and if we are there, we'll try to find you in the Sea of People.
We got to do it.
I know they have like I think On-Site has like an executive campus kind of set up where they're doing like a happy hour and they're gonna have live music and all that kind of stuff. So I think that starts at like 11 a.m. Like
wow.
It starts early. Like you guys,
Taran, you're like, yes, it does.
Yes. Well, how about
gates at 11:30? I'm planning on getting there. Like, I'm even though I'm a Los Angeles native, I'm arrogantly gonna go with just like traditional Uber there, and then I'm just gonna Mad Max my way out of that thing. But I think hopefully there's like some post-game celebration anyway, and it thins out by half. And, just even if I have to walk home from Inglewood, I think I'll be buzzing enough and feel good enough that I can make it.
Monday at work, I'll be a zombie, but it won't matter.
Yeah. It's worth it. Totally worth it.
So worth it.
How about how about this? How about a pre, festivities beverage? What would be your beverage of choice? And then post game, what would you celebrate with?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just a standard bourbon guy, I love, but there is a really great mezcal cocktail called a New Orleans Minute that I like. It's like mezcal, and it's like maybe vermouth and Campari or something like that, and that's pretty fun to shake it up. And like done right, it sort of looks sunsetty, and there are great sunsets from SoFi.
Yeah, golden hour.
I'll probably be just doing some solid whiskey ingesting.
Mezcal sounds good. I might go Del Sombros, a little Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul action.
Exactly. You got
Mezcal's a little smoky though, which you got to be able to mix it with some good stuff. So
I love the smokiness of it. I love like a smoky spicy, especially.
I'm more of a Blanco Reposado guy. But if tequila's in front of me and if we win the Super Bowl, I'm drinking anything that's in front of me.
I mean, this just sounds like we got to go in on some tequila brand. Ram Amigos?
Yeah, you 100% do.
Let's
Rams
start workshopping some names.
Come on.
Let's do it. What else we got, Nick? Any other questions you wanted to ask our 3-time offender?
You're just the coolest. I work at TV. I'm like a PA. I just love what you do, dude. It's just so cool. Thanks, I can't believe I get, we even get to do this. It's awesome.
Happy to be here, dude. Yeah. I can't wait. It's I mean, you guys have been such a pivotal contribution to sort of the expanded Ramily, and I feel like week 18 in San Fran was such a wake-up call and kind of kicking the groin with having all those Niners fans there. But I've only seen exponentially more positive support, and that you guys follow that guy Anton out of Florida who helped. He's the one that set up the GoFundMe.
Yep.
For the, I think the guy's name was AJ. Just like those kind of stories, I'm hearing so much more of that than any kind of territorial, like, oh, real fan, not real fan kind of thing. And like, yeah, it's great. It's fun to see it expanding. And certainly a moment like this in league history is only gonna, make it that much more cool and exciting to be a Rams fan. But I feel like the fandom foundation is so strong and so positive and so supportive and inclusive, and you guys, to me, are like key members of that.
Well, we feel the same about you. I remember talking back in 2018 when you were like, the Rams house was good. It's getting there. It's getting better. And now we're here. Like, we fast forwarded into the future and we're repping this new gear, new merch. Like, we got new faces.
I hated the new logo at first, but honestly, I freaking love it now. Like, I'm like totally in. I don't even care. It's synonymous with winning. I'm so about it.
Taran, do you see what I deal with? I got Jekyll and Hyde over here.
It's still just too close to the Chargers bolt. You know what I mean? Like the segmented thing of it. It's just like, I want this. I want it really rounded, and I want it coming back in. You know?
See, we're on the same page, Taran. We're on the same page. I feel exactly the same way. But I mean, it looks so good far away on television. They pop. It's so LA and Hollywood, which is like so our identity too, which is just super rad.
Totally. They're trying to take the LA wave. I mean, that's what SoFi is, the water, the wave, the beach.
The wave.
And I think they applied that to the horn. And I'm just looking for a little bit more of a barrel wave than a cresting wave, if you will.
Oh, there you go. Let's get them off on here. Let's pick them our ideas.
I just talked to him yesterday. Yeah. He's doing good. I'll bring that up next time. I focus mostly on parking.
So we're gonna try to meet up with Kevin at the Grove. If he's there on the 12th on February on Saturday, we're gonna try to see if he's there.
Oh, amazing. Okay, awesome. There's a big to do there at the pop-up?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just where the pop-ups have been at the Grove, and I assume that he would be there. Maybe not. He's been there already a couple times, so maybe he's elsewhere.
I know. I saw him blasting out about like Cooper Kupp jersey arrivals and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's where I want to be able to go and get some new merch. But also, I mean, that's the best part. That's the storyline of this Super Bowl, is the fact that the hat that you're wearing, Taran, the jerseys and the merchandise that Nick and I are rocking and continuously rock throughout this podcast, like, it's representative of the history of this team, right? It would be the first time that a Los Angeles quarterback ever threw a touchdown pass in the Los Angeles Super Bowl. Like, we would be witnessing that for the first time in 2022, which is unbelievable. Yeah. So I just think it's time. I think we're all equally confident. We have the players on our team. We got the personalities. We got the coach. It's time to bring it home.
Agreed. Go Rams.
Go Rams.
Go Rams, man. Dean, thank you for letting me talk more than I usually do. I'm usually more of like an Andy Richter to Dean's Conan. So this is pretty great.
There's nothing wrong with Andy Richter, dude.
Well, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna jump just because I think my wife's downstairs ready to start the next episode of The Great.
Oh, beautiful. Enjoy.
Which I do love. I don't know if you guys watch it, but
not yet, but it's now on my list.
I love that show. I don't know if you saw The Favorite with Emma Thompson and Olivia Colman, that film. It's like some of the same creative team. I just love it. There's just no other show like it. So
what is The Great
here's a very off subject shout out for The Great, available on Hulu.
Oh, Hulu. Okay, cool. Oh, check it out. Hulu, not a sponsor of Rams Brothers, but potentially one day.
Yeah. Exactly.
We'll all right, guys.
Hit me up if you guys make it there Sunday.
Sure will.
Will do, man. Got it. Thanks for hopping on. Horns up, baby.
Go Rams.
Rams house.
Peace.
Rams house.